welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny.
Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
One. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Casuals. This is the casual discussion, and I'm Michael.
I am a Johnny.
And this is Anime Casuals. Now I can actually say that. Hello. I almost said, by the way, when I was about to say this is, and I was going to say you say my name. It was just going to be out of the blue.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the casual discussion. If you tuned in last week, you would know that we were talking about the second battle in Record of Ragnarok, and it was actually a pretty interesting battle, to be honest. It was episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the second season. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, were you expecting this battle?
I don't know. The question is yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. It really makes sense after they decided who's gonna fight who. Shiva versus what's his name? I'm gonna say it wrong. Tameemon. It's Raiden. Super Sumo Man.
Yep.
I'm just gonna be bad about it.
Tameemon Raiden.
Oh, so I was halfway there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was wrong. I was like, it's not Raiden. That's not a word. But whatever. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward, and I was kind of okay with that. I expected a little bit more, but I also see that for the characters that they had created in this kind of anime, it makes a lot of sense. It was very cool to see.
Yeah,
sumo versus just a guy with 4 arms.
Which was, I think, the fun part is, first of all, I think before we started the fight, we were looking at each other going like, what's his weapon going to be? Because in sumo, you don't use weapons. It's just all a body thing. Yeah. And then when they did the Volander, it was like red lines streaked all over his body. It's like, oh, it's literally like an enhancement to his body. That's cool.
Like that tape that you put on yourself for your muscles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember thinking it was going to be like the Mawashi belt, maybe. But, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. And which, Johnny, what an apt description, because, you put that tape on you, and the tape in this one helped his muscles stay in control.
Yep, stay stable.
Yeah, so over the past during the first 2 episodes, we basically find out Raiden's backstory, where ever since he was a kid, this is real, this is true stuff. Tameemon Raiden apparently was a very strong child, like very gifted in the strength category child, high strength stat, and while he was others recognized him for his strength as a kid, and
so strong, by the way, that he was breaking his own bones with his own little boy muscles.
Oh yes, and then that's the anime part, is that his muscles were so uncontrollable that anytime he would right when he was born, immediately all of his muscles broke his bones.
Yeah, just crushed himself.
Yeah, and it was a horrifying scene too. Like he flushes completely red, and is in a ton of pain. And that's when the narrator goes, "Oh, yeah, but instead of giving up and dying, instead, he took his muscles under his control by pulling another set of muscles over those muscles."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta have muscles to hold the muscles, obviously. I mean, logically, I totally get it. Why not? Opponents can't do it, you gotta make muscles.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, they bound his arms. They did something. He's like, nope, I just formed extra muscles over my muscles. And that was his seal, which was, he did like the Naruto thing when he was fighting to unseal himself. So that was
was funny to see. I was super anime. I wasn't expecting him oh my god, he's gonna unleash the 9 tails. What?
Yeah.
He just untwists it.
Yeah. And then we also, after that whole part with Raiden, then we learn about Shiva's backstory, which actually, sometimes with the god's backstory, I don't care. I really don't care. Like Poseidon, I didn't care about. Like
No.
there's a couple of different ones that I was just like, nah, I'm good. There's been 5 battles, and I've only like
Like the
Hercules.
first season, I was just good off. I didn't really
Yeah.
have to see any of them.
Yeah.
Season 2 are the only ones that I've actually liked.
Yeah. And you know, like some of the human side, I was kind of interested because I didn't know the character, but I know enough about the gods and goddesses, the mythology of the world that I'm like, nah, we're good. So then we learn about Shiva's, and Shiva's like, oh yeah, I had this brother, and the two of us. Do you remember the brother's name? Rudra, and the two of them adventured throughout their mythological realm, and basically fought every god and goddess they could.
It was like every god in India.
Yeah, and they were basically like, okay, if we best all of them, we will be the best. And every time they fought, they would carry the pride and strength of that person with them to the next battle. So the backstories in this were definitely better, much better.
I thought they were pretty simple, which was nice. They were just easily digestible. I felt like,
Yeah,
just kind of straightforward. I mean, yeah, Raiden's was just fun, and Shiva's was, I don't want to say predictable, but I mean, I guess that's kind of that's why they're like, I don't know what to call it. That's just the legend of the gods, you know. They're passed down, they're rewritten, you know, transcribed, stuff like that. So I mean, it was fun to see.
Yeah,
I mean, especially seeing all just different designs for gods, you know, how they envisioned it, and different, just because they had 1,016 or it's 1,116 gods.
Yeah, it's something
India?
like that. Yeah,
like that's crazy. So I mean, I don't know. They animated like
a lot of them,
20 of them at least, 25. Yeah. I mean, that's good. So
yeah, 1,116, the pinnacle of 1,116.
There you
go. Which I think that was actually pretty interesting. Like you said, like it's predictable, but it's like they're destined to be predictable. It's like if we're telling a story about Shiva, well, Shiva's going to be the main character of the story, because they're also the gods. So it's like they didn't get to the top and then get shoved back down. Like they're a name, like one of the high pantheon. So it's like,
yeah, Shiva, god of destruction.
Yeah,
which, I mean, he had his own prophecy, which is how that kind of goes forward into this fight with Raiden. But I wonder.
Do you remember the prophecy at all? Because that's the one thing I was having trouble with while watching
the prophecy was something. I'm going to paraphrase. It was just something to the end of the world will end with like Shiva's fire or something.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what we kind of get into later on. But they go back and forth fighting each other. Shiva very early on loses an arm, which I thought was really cool.
It was so early.
Just kind of like, oops. She is just dangling there now, and I mean, it hung on there for a while too.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, yeah, like I've said, it was just cool to see.
Yeah.
And you know, the fights just kind of progressed from there. You know, Shiva keeps getting beat up, and even Raiden is taking a bunch of hits, and eventually Shiva gets pushed a little too far because Raiden does this weird like Luffy One Piece thing where he's like, gum, and he blows up his fist with his muscles.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then he's like wham, and he just keeps like hitting Shiva and wrecking him because by the end, towards the end of it, he gets him down to
one arm.
Yeah, one arm. One arm was like torn in half because Raiden attempted to rip it off. The other one was broken as well. I don't remember what happened to the third one, but it was definitely unusable.
Yeah.
And then he used his fourth one to use his ultimate technique, which was pretty gnarly in itself.
Mm.
He uses his hand to grab his heart and, you know, just pump it faster.
Yep.
It's just another One Piece technique, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Shiva just seems to be kind of like a Luffy character. But, he pumps that up and, you know, he catches fire, and that's totally cool with him. And he starts using his legs, which that's when I was like, oh, no. This fight is over. He's totally done because legs are ridiculous.
Yeah, and legs versus arm, legs are gonna win.
Yeah, they're just so much stronger. Just as a base, you can't fight it.
Yeah. And in these 4 episodes, it was kind of interesting because they talked about like Raiden is the most physically muscular, strong character in all of humanity. And he's never had to use his full power. So, like, when he started doing all this crazy stuff with his muscles, it was like, yeah, this is the peak human evolution. It's like, if humans could do this, and they all had his lack of muscle control, then we could be crazy.
Having fun with history.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we were talking about. It, like, some of the, if not all of the humans, are like dramatic, like reinterpretations of what they were.
Yes, they definitely feel like. I mean, I've heard
Animified.
it, and I don't know if there's any truth to it, but that Record of Ragnarok is in the Fate universe. I'm like, it feels like it.
Yeah.
It feels like all these people are just they're Fate characters, and they're being pulled out, and maybe some of them are gonna go join the Holy Grail War, and maybe some of them aren't. I don't know, but yeah.
Who knows, Johnny? Who knows? I think that brings us. Yeah, this will be a little shorter one just because we're covering a lot less episodes. For the amount of time we recorded, you could have watched a fourth of this already. So the last part is during the last episode. We see Zeus go up to Buddha, who we saw previous, and goes, "Hey, Buddha, can you fight in the next fight?" And he goes, yeah, just watch the show or something like that.
Basically, I mean, Zeus wants him to fight because he's afraid. He doesn't want to lose,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that necessarily means he's afraid of the humans like coming back and
Well,
winning, but
or he's just really competitive. Like, so I'm like,
it totally could be that. I really hope it's just like, hey, I don't have a problem with humans.
Yeah.
I just don't want to lose. I'm good without it. But yeah, he asked Buddha like, hey, will you fight? Will you fight? And he's like, don't worry, man, I'll totally fight. Just enjoy the show, as Michael said.
yeah,
And what he does is he shows up for the fight, and it's for the gods, it's Buddha.
yeah,
And then Buddha just keeps going to the other side of the Colosseum, and then he grabs the megaphone. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fight for the humans.
Yep.
So whatever."
Which, you know what? This whole time, ever since we were introduced to Buddha, I was like, dude, he's gonna fight for the humans. He's literally a god for the humans. Like, that's what Buddha is all about. Like, he teaches humans how to reach enlightenment. And I'm like, there's not a lot of other, sorry, by the way, casual knowledge right here. If that's not what it is, please let me know in the comments. But it just makes a lot of sense that he'd just kind of switch sides and be like, nah, has to be somebody representing. And Hercules was the first one, and he's like a demigod. And now we have Buddha.
Well, even Buddha was doing some stuff behind the scenes, apparently. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was helping out
Powering
the
people
humans.
up. Yeah.
I guess, whatever that means, yeah. But I don't know. That was
He was
really
going
cool
around
twist.
giving them anime powers.
I bestow you with the power of God in anime. Wow.
Wow.
One other thing I want to mention, actually, about this episode, it was crazy to see just what happened to Raiden in the end of the fight, where his arm got exploded by that kick. And that's what I mean when, you can't compete with a kick. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just would have been gnarly. And if he gotten in a kick there, not fought like a sumo, probably would have gone differently. Other thing I noticed, I want to ask, did you notice any voice actor changes?
No.
Okay. There was one for Shiva, and only thing I'm going to say about it is I think the previous voice actor, even though they didn't really do much, would have been better because they did voice acting for like Bond. I'm just going to give the one example.
Oh,
Growly
voice.
Seven Deadly. And to be honest, I thought he had a more hostile voice to it. And I mean, as the God of Destruction, I was like, that's going to sound cool. This guy sounded a lot more chill and laid back. Like maybe he should have been, he showed up for Buddha and they just kind of said like, well, we already got a Buddha. You could be Shiva. And it's like, well, sure. So I don't know. That's the last thing I really wanted to say.
He very much sounded like a Goku, where he's like, I'm just chilling, relaxed, and like without the whole like when Goku goes into a fight, he gets really mad. Like this guy's like, oh, whatever. Like, I could be fighting right now.
Yeah.
I could
like
not.
Krillin later on when he's like, you know what? I'll just be a cop.
Yeah.
I don't need to fight in all these crazy tournaments with you guys. The world is always in danger, and Goku's going to deal with it.
Yeah. But my question now, though, is one, is that going to throw off the fight order? And two, is that going to... Is Buddha going to use a Volander, or like, is that why Buddha's coming over? Because then, what's her name? Who's the main girl? Who's the main?
The one who's like saying
the Valkyrie. Yeah,
I don't remember her name.
Okay,
but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, Brunhilde. Like, what if Brunhilde? This is how Brunhilde doesn't fight.
Actually,
or the little one.
That's what I was actually going to say. I could see this being more of like, this is how Brunhilde will fight, so that the younger Valkyrie will be able to start anew, for the next Record of Ragnarok, whenever that is. But I mean, you make a good point. I didn't even think about that. I thought Buddha was going to have a Volander, but I mean, I guess why would he? He's Buddha. But that makes me wonder, though, is he going to fight another god, or is he going to fight? Is there some human out there that's like, I hate humans,
Dude, that's
please, may any of the gods give me the strength to crush my own people.
Yeah.
That would be, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to see it, but it would just be crazy to see it. I'd love to see who they pick.
Yeah,
Is the biggest thing.
a nice equal and opposite type of thing.
That being said, there are plenty of gods up there that might want to just jump in and be like, God damn it, Buddha. How dare you? Because we see
Us
fight faces.
Us
We see Loki, Mercury, Ares, and even Odin. Odin's was probably the funniest just because it was just all dark and purple. You can barely see him. He's just anger. So
I don't think we saw Zeus.
I think Zeus was just chill, if anything.
Yeah.
I feel like he might have known, but maybe not.
Interesting. Overall, I think season 2 for Ragnarok has actually been pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. A little bit
2 fights.
first season heavy, but yeah it was good.
And they're starting to build up to like what I wish was happening in the first season is like some more dramatic twists. Is like, oh yeah, all the gods are good together and all the humans are together. It's like, is that true though? It's like you said, aren't there some humans that hate all the other humans, and aren't there some gods who love the humans? So
just some religious fanatic, I don't know who Joan of Arc,
who just believes in the apocalypse. It's certainly interesting. So I guess we'll see whenever it comes back what the future story is. Johnny and I are not reading it, so there's nothing there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the next one could be, because I mean, I'm going back. We had like a test of strength with Lubu and Thor. Then we had, wasn't Poseidon? Who was it? Who was round 2? I'm messing up. There was Poseidon somewhere in there. Then we go Hercules, which was a brawl in the city of London. Then we go to the most recent one with the sumo match.
It was
I'm totally drawing a blank.
Lubu versus Thor.
Yeah, Lubu versus Thor.
And then it was
Zeus and Adam.
Zeus and
How
Adam.
did I forget that? That's crazy.
Yeah, and then Kojiro Sasaki versus Poseidon.
Like, I'm wondering what kind of fight they're gonna do. Is it always gonna be like just a crazy brawl?
I have no idea.
Something like that. I mean, it'd be like, what if they did a race? I don't know. It'd have to be Mercury then, or whoever that is.
I have no idea.
I
mean, that would be if they start changing the format of the fight, like they just kind of did right now with like it being sort of sumo like. Yeah.
Well, I guess they just kind of. I mean, I thought they would like pick the fights themselves, but not really. It seems like they just kind of go with the flow and whatever happens.
Like a normal tournament.
I mean, the gods are always like, "Face me, mortal," and then the mortals do whatever they want. I mean, even Jack was like, "Okay, can I have the city of London?" Sure, why not? Go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And this season, I think they played around with at least the stage more than the first season, except for like the little switch up for Poseidon to have water surrounding the arena, which I don't think actually mattered. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. Hopefully, exciting things.
Yeah.
So if you have enjoyed this casual discussion, we haven't quite decided what we're going to cover next, so we'll let you know as soon as possible. Otherwise, like, subscribe, comment down below. You can reach us at animecasualsreal, REAL, @gmail.com if you want to contact us or comment or talk to us directly. So thank you very much, and as always, you got to keep
it
casual.